Okay. I will be recording, so if you want to leave your camera off, you're more than, that's more than okay. So everybody knows who I am, so I'm just going to get started. For anybody that doesn't know who's going to be watching this as recorded masterclass, my name is Laura. I'll get into that for a minute. So just a couple of housekeeping. We are going to be starting with an intuitive emotional freedom technique sequence that we're all going to be part of. So I will be asking you to unmute yourself and participate in that. I highly recommend you stay to the end. I will be doing a guided hypnosis that's going to really allow you to transform essentially any programming you've had since a child around money. So you're going to not want to miss that. And then I don't really want to do the Q&A after the hypnosis, because after the hypnosis, everyone's going to probably want to just go to bed or be in their own space. So I'll do a little Q&A right before that, but this is very much a safe space. I want you to feel really comfortable to participate. And if you have any questions as we go along, you're more than welcome to ask that or ask them. Questions or anything that comes up, please feel free to share anything that comes up. Usually money masterclasses are super interactive because people really feel a calling to share things that they come up, and you'll know a little bit more about what I mean when we get into the prompts. I will have the chat open and I'll try to follow it as much as possible, so feel free to use that. And at the same time, please make sure you have a pen or paper, pen, pencil, whatever, your laptop, whatever you feel most comfortable to use, because we're going to have some prompts, and I want you to really allow yourself to lean into anything that comes up for you as we go along. Okay, so what we are going to start with, like I said, is an emotional freedom technique, so EFT. And the intention of this is really to allow any resistance we have to money, whether it be earning money, attracting money, just money in general, and in abundance, really, essentially in general. Can I just ask quickly? I want to make sure this is recording. Were you, does it, because I don't see it because I'm sharing my screen. But yeah, it's recording. I don't know if I asked you permission.
Yes, it did. It's working.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Ramasha. Okay, so what we're going to do is the first part of the sequence is we are just going to release any resistance around money. So you could just follow me at the top of your head and just follow as I move through the energy meridian points. You could repeat after me, or you could just mentally just say it to yourself. And then what we're going to do, the opposing sequence, what we're doing at this part is releasing. And then what we're going to do is really allow ourselves to fill our subconscious mind with empowering thoughts around money. So as I go through that, I would love for you all to just anything that intuitively comes up to say it, so we can program our subconscious minds with those empowering thoughts. But first, what we'll do is just start to release any resistance. So you could just release meet me at the top of your head. Even though I'm not feeling good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And just on top of your eyes, even though I'm not feeling that good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And just on the side of your eyes, even though I'm not feeling good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And just underneath your eye, even though I'm not feeling good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And just on top of your mouth, even though I'm not feeling good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And just underneath your mouth, even though I'm not feeling good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And just on your collarbone, even though I'm not feeling good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And just underneath your arm, along your rib cage, even though I'm not feeling good about money, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. And now what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to repeat that sequence. But now what we're going to do is really allow ourselves to intuitively come up with things, new beliefs that we want to have around money. So I'm going to start, and please feel free to unmute yourself. Oh, trying to join. I want to make sure. Sorry, I just want to make sure. Okay, it's fine. So somebody's trying to join, but it's fine. They could just watch the recording. So I'm going to start this sequence. And then, like I said, please feel free to unmute yourselves and empower us with things that are going to come up. So I'll start. I trust money. It feels good to earn money. Does anybody have anything that comes up or something that a new belief that they wish to have around money?
Money's all around me.
Money is all around me. I love that.
Money likes me.
Money likes me. I love that.
Money comes easily and freely to me.
I love that. Money comes easily and freely to me. It is safe to earn money.
My accounts are overflowing.
Ooh, I love that. And so it is.
I am abundance.
I love that. And if there's anything else that comes up, feel free to share. So welcome to the How to Use Energetics to create your 2024 financial blueprint. So I chose this wording liberated as the cover because I really want by the end of this masterclass, whether you're watching this live with us or watching it as a replay, I really want my intention of this is to really allow you to feel a sense of liberation and freedom around money by the end of this masterclass in terms of any limiting decisions around money, any money stories, any programs, any paradigms, and even more than that, I want you to feel really good about money. Anybody that has worked with me, obviously there's people, everybody has worked with me that is watching this live, you know that when I reference money, I really reference it as energy because it essentially is energy like you and I and everything else in this universe. So when we really think of it in that respect, and we think of it as we would for a partner, for example, in a relationship, it really allows us to really nurture the relationships that we have with money when it comes to trusting it, when it comes to letting it go, when it comes to knowing that it's going to come back to us. And these are all things that we will get into. But that's why I chose that wording liberated, because I really, like I said, my intention by the end of this master class is for everyone to leave it feeling good about, of course, earning money, having money, but even more so the relationship with money. I want it to be almost the same way you would want to have a healthy relationship with a romantic partner or a friend or a professional partner. So I'm just going to scroll down. I'm just going to close this so I can see my slides. So who this is for? This is for you if you're ready to uncover the parts of your money story that are keeping you at your current earning potential so that you can transform them to have unlimited earning potential. This is for you if you're ready to create a new money paradigm so that earning will feel safe and fun. This is for you if you're ready to release past events that may be creating resistance to money so that you can begin to trust it, your ability to attract it, and that it will stay when you do. Please let me know if I'm going too fast. I have a tendency to speed up when I get passionate about something. So just feel free to just put it in the chat or just unmute yourself and just ask me to slow down, or my tonality is a little low or high. So this is for you if you're ready to learn how leaning into gratitude and giving will begin to alter your financial point of attraction. And this is for you if you're ready to have a safe space, to frame any limiting decisions you have about money, including any childhood program. And like I said, this guided hypnosis is scripted specifically to uncover any childhood programming subconsciously that you have and transform it. This is for you if you're ready to transform your relationship with money so that your accounts are constantly in overflow, just as per Abby's affirmation in the beginning. And you're saying, thank you, more please on the daily. So in the next 60 minutes or so, when it's Laura, it's or so, you will, in this masterclass, I will give you the best tools. I'll give you the step-by-step system that will transform your conditioning and relationship with money so that you will become a money magnet. And you haven't done so yet, I highly recommend, like I said, you grab something to write with, whatever your comfort level is. If it is something electronic, amazing. If it's more of a journaling type of book, pencil or pen, just you're going to want to have something for sure for the prompts that I have. And then of course, for anything intuitively that comes up. And I'm somebody that mentors and trains a lot on intention and awareness. So one of my intentions, again, for anything that I do, but in a master class as well, to just allow you the space to really be attentive to anything that is coming up. I want you to honor it. and really allow yourself to know, okay, this is something that I might need to work further on. So do you feel like every time that you go into your online banking, it feels uncomfortable? That is something that comes up in conversations with others and in your self-talk? Do you feel like you have never that you sorry that you have that you not have even scraped the surface of your earning potential? Do you feel like events from the past are influencing how you feel towards money? Maybe some things from your childhood, things that you have seen modeled for you. Do you feel like you're tired of feeling resentment towards money or guilt for even having it when you do? Right? There's a lot of low vibrational emotions that a lot of people associate around money because of past events like guilt, resentment. You feel like even when you attract money, circumstances always kind of comes up and it does not stay. I know that's a limiting decision that's common to people, is that there's a fear about attracting money because they'll lose it or how things around them will change when they have money or success. So you're in the right place if you have been asking yourself, when is it my turn to be tuned into abundance in all of its forms? And we're talking in terms of a financial blueprint this evening and more of that money piece. But of course, abundance comes in all forms, including being here tonight. This is abundance to be in each other's energy. Again, whether you're here live or watching as a replay, opportunities, abundance. There's abundance in so many forms that I think, or that I know essentially, that we don't even realize how abundant we are and how much we are tuned into receiving. And that's something that we'll talk about as well. So I have something to say. If you try to feel good about money, but it didn't work, it's not your fault. If you have thought that if you just put more strategies in place around money, it just never changes your money reality. That tends to happen for a lot of people, not to take anything away from it, but we just really strategize around money. We forget about the energetics piece about money. And of course, money is essentially energy. So we want to make sure we're doing the energy work around it, which we're going to do tonight, and which we started off with the emotional freedom technique. It's just releasing any resistance around money. So the real issue is this: all of our programming, like anything else, but just like money, lives in our subconscious mind. And without doing the deep work at that level, any work done at the conscious level won't generate the results that you want, right? So for example, I'll give you an example just at the top of my head. If you are looking to increase your income and you're doing all that work, you're looking for jobs or employee or self-employment opportunities or business opportunities, what have you, to generate more income, but you have a limiting decision that it's not safe to earn more money or something of that sort, then it just that work kind of contradicts anything else that you're doing. So after this masterclass today, you will have a clearer picture of the stories you have been telling yourself around money that are holding you back and how to reframe them. Okay, so that's why, again, I want you to really lean into anything that comes up. Don't feel bad about it. Just, really acknowledge that it's coming up for you and that awareness piece, and just note that it's just something to work on. And, that awareness piece really is a gift. So again, my goal for this masterclass is to give you all the tools, nuggets, and confidence to take your financial blueprint and relationship with money to a level that you have never dreamt of. Sorry, my nose is running. And that, again, I really allow people the space to lean into money as in any other type of relationship, that you want to feel good about having it. And when you feel good about it, it's going to come and it's going to stay. Same thing with a partner, right? So no one mapped out, this is a little bit about me. I know everyone on the call live knows about me, but just for anybody that's going to watch this as a replay, no one mapped out this path for me the way that I'm about to break it down for you in this masterclass. I've gone from thinking life was happening to me to creating a life that I'm excited to wake up to every day. I've left a career that I found no purpose in and took a leap of faith in entrepreneurship. Here, I fell in love with showing women how to flourish and literally transform into higher versions of themselves. Receiving abundance has become my natural default setting, and I believe that you're worthy of that as well. I have become the creator of a life that brings me joy, and now it's time for you to have the same. So you are in the right place if you consistently think that life is happening to you, and you want to start showing up at cause for your life, including your relationship with money. So what this looks like really is really allowing ourselves to move away from narratives such as, I don't have any luck, these things always happen to me, to get to the place where we're at cause, and the narrative there sounds a little bit more like, okay, so I understand that I have attracted these circumstances in. Is it something that I'm thinking? Maybe it's something that I'm feeling. Maybe it's conversations I'm having either to myself or to other people. What work do I need to do? And that really is what it means to be able to really live a cause, is to really understand that everything that is showing up is, yes, reflective of our internal self, but it's really mirroring everything to us. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or use the chat. Of course, everyone knows me that's on the call. For anybody that may be watching this as a replay, I happen to be wearing the same outfit that was not on purpose. So I'm Laura. I had hit rock bottom. I was physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually flatlining. My body was filled with so much stress I could not keep weight on. Anxiety attacks were my norm, and how I diluted stress. My body constantly found itself in fight or flight mode. My mind and body were such disconnect. I was stuck in a marriage that I was losing myself in, and my son had just been flagged for autism. I was in a career that was all that I knew, though it kept me unfulfilled and away from my kids. I was drowning in debt. Where I turned, there was even more circumstances of lack, which, of course, now that I know about energetics and energy and the laws of the universe, that makes total sense, because where we put our energy and our focus on, of course, expands. So if we are continually putting our focus onto debts, then that, of course, is what we're going to attract more of. Whereas if we put our energy and focus onto abundance, then that's what we are going to attract more of. And I, of course, attracted more and more of what I did not want. And then I took my power back and decided that was meant for more. And then my purpose was so much bigger than I was showing up for. And I believe that for everybody that, again, is watching this live or as a replay, this is when I started to learn how powerful our minds are. Soon after that, I read a book called The Secret, and I realized that I've learned how to be more intentional with my thoughts. I could change my circumstances. It is, in actuality, the universal law. I started redirecting my thoughts to things that I did want, and I started to take better care of my body. Our bodies are the servant to our minds, and as my mind got stronger, my body got stronger. I started to be more intentional with my days, spend time with people that breathe life into me. And the first time in my life, I invested in myself and my growth. I'm just going to skip over all this part. So I invested in a coach, fell in love with investing in myself over and over again. Anybody that knows me knows I continually invest in myself. My life has changed dramatically in the last few years. I'm now a deliberate creator. Instead of creating from a place of scarcity, I now create deliberately, and I've learned to keep my focus and energy on what I want. I have clear understanding of the power of the mind and body connection. I understand how making daily shifts in our lives can help reduce stress and keep us into a continual state of joy and overall well-being, which are obviously important when we talk about law of attraction and our point of attraction. I consider myself a super attractor. Instead of debt, manifesting unexpected checks are my new norm. I left a career, like I said, that I found no purpose in, and found my love for servantship and entrepreneurship. And now I decide my own worth, and I hope the same for all of you, whether you're self-employed or not, regardless, even just in relationships and just on a daily, to always know your worth and to lead with that. And I now have the tools to design a life full of intention and joy. And now I want to help you design the same type of life of intention and joy. And of course, a life that feels good, and have it feel good to earn and to be abundant as that. So what we're going to cover, and again, if you haven't grabbed something to write with, I highly recommend you do, because I can promise you a lot of things are going to come up. We're going to cover what a financial blueprint is and how your beliefs around money created your current money paradigm. And this is so important because, like anything, we make our decisions based on our paradigms and our programming and everything that is running subconsciously. So if we have a money, whether you want to call it a paradigm, financial blueprint, basically all of the same. If you have one that does not serve you, then you're making decisions based on it, then you are basically going to make decisions based on your current reality and not the reality that you want. We're going to talk about what the most common 13 limiting beliefs around money are. We're going to lean into your current financial blueprint to recognize any beliefs around money that are not serving you. By doing so, we're going to create a new financial blueprint that you can start making empowered decisions from. And then very quickly at the end, we are going to learn how forgiving, healing, releasing, gratitude, and giving will have you receiving and earning today. I can promise you, even if you start giving at a very minimal scale, something that you feel comfortable with, I can promise you, you will see the effects of that in terms of receiving abundance right away. Giving is such a powerful action universally, and we'll talk about that. Any questions so far? Please let me know. You can unmute yourself, put them in the chat. Again, I apologize, I have a little bit of a cold. So what is a financial blueprint? So your financial blueprint is your subconscious coding and patterning around money. So the neural networks you have in place to dictate everything you think, feel, and do about money. Like the rest of your subconscious programming, most of your beliefs around money were implanted in your subconscious mind early in your life by the behavior that was modeled and language you heard from your family, your teacher, and other social institutions. So when we go through the limiting beliefs, the most common limiting belief, I'm going to very confidently say that there are probably going to be things that you've heard as a child, maybe through family members, parents, or such, that have really almost essentially become your truth. So again, perfect example, if you grew up in a household where it was believed that money was hard to have, or people with money were greedy or are greedy, then chances are you have money blocks and a financial blueprint that is keeping you from earning and receiving. Because the programming is basically telling you, even if you have clear intent at the conscious level to earn more, you have that programming that's running that's telling you that, why do you want to have more? People that have more are greedy or want too much, or just be happy with what you have, or whatever that programming you have. If you grew up in a household where money wasn't safe, or perhaps an addiction was present, you may even have resentment towards money. And again, there's a lot of low vibrational emotions that people feel around money. So imagine, what would it feel like to feel good around money, to feel safe around money, to feel like you trust it. So limiting belief is a practice thought that we have made our truth. So this is something I know, who listens to, this is a little bit more, this is something that I got from Esther Hicks. I don't know for anybody that listens to Esther Hicks, who is incredible, but she'll easily say, a limiting belief is a practice thought that you have made your truth. And when we think about it from a more science perspective, it's the exact same thing. So a limiting belief, somewhere in our timeline, if we were doing a modality that I work with and we were on your timeline, somewhere either as a child, depending on your belief systems, maybe past life, but somewhere you have made a decision that it is not safe to earn. And because this has become a thought that you have continually thought, it has now become a belief for you and essentially your truth. Yes, Misha says she loves Esther Hicks. Thanks to me. Yes, I highly recommend Esther Hicks. She channels from Abraham Hicks, and she just talks a lot about vibration and law of attraction, law of vibration, and just essentially feeling good, right? And that's why, like anything else, feeling good should be our number one job every single day, because as long as we're feeling good, then we heighten our point of attraction. Same thing with money. If we're feeling unsafe around money, if we're feeling resentful, then of course we're not going to attract it, right? So 13 limiting beliefs about money. And when we are going through this, I would highly recommend just jotting down any that are like, oh, that is definitely something that I heard growing up, or that is something that I definitely believe, right? Because those are points of thought that you want to transform essentially. So the scarcity mindset. So things like there's never enough money. Money doesn't grow on trees. I think everybody has heard that from childhood programming. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? So these limiting beliefs will keep you in a looping pattern of financial lack, convincing you that there'll never be enough money to meet your needs, right? Especially when we're really leaning into the 3D world and we get in a lot of narrative around recession and increase of pricing, like, everything has increased in pricing. So it's so easy to fall into these looping patterns when we really allow ourselves to be influenced by what we call the 3D world, right? So worthiness, and from working with people with limiting decisions, I could, again, with confidence say at the core of every limiting decision, there tends to be an essence of worthiness and a lack of self-worth. So things like, I don't deserve to be wealthy, rich people are bad or greedy. So these limiting beliefs undermine your sense of deserving financial success, either by associating wealth with the negative qualities or by labeling ourselves as unworthy. Fixed income views. Again, this is so easy to allow ourselves to be influenced by this type of narrative when we're talking to other people that may not have done the same kind of work that we've done around money. So things like, I'll never be able to earn more than I do now. It's impossible to rise above my current financial situation. So these limiting beliefs can keep us stuck in our current financial situation, convincing us that earning more is impossible. Difficulty of acquisition. So it's hard to make money. You have to work extremely hard and sacrifice to have money. This is, I find, again, very common in terms of many limiting decisions, not just money, but the whole essence that we need to work harder. There has to be sacrifice. We equate sacrifice to success so much, and that really isn't the truth. So these limiting beliefs associate wealth acquisition with sacrifice and negative conditions. And I think for a lot of us, what I tend to see, that essence of sacrifice really comes, it's very much a cultural or generational limiting decisions, especially for those of us that may have had past generations that have come to different countries and, they've had to leave things behind or come and start over, or, and so we're really groomed to hear things like, well, we had to sacrifice, we've sacrificed for our families, or that type of narrative. So that really sticks to us essentially. So knowledge and capability, I'm just not good with money. Understanding finances is too complicated for me. So these limiting beliefs minimize our financial confidence by convincing us that we lack the skills and understanding to manage money effectively. So again, that's why it's so important. Like anything else, I really hybrid the strategy and the energy. So, if you want to start leaning into different strategies around money, you want to make sure you're still doing that energy work, like affirmations. So if you're not thinking something like, I'm just not good with money, you could be thinking something like, I am an expert in money making, or whatever comes up for you. Luck and wealth. People are either born into money or they get lucky. I'm sure we've all heard that. I'm just not lucky when it comes to finances. So these limiting beliefs attribute success to chance or inheritance, making it feel entirely out of control. Fear of loss. So again, that low vibrational point of attraction almost that we allot to things, including money. So if I get money, I'll probably lose it. This is so common. It's safer not to have too much money so I don't become a target, right? Similarly, that's very much about success. People don't want success because they worry about what's going to happen to the relationships around me when I have success or when I have more money. These limited beliefs can generate anxiety about losing money the moment it hits our bank account, leading to resistance to obtaining wealth in the first place. One thing that's coming up, and I want to mention, money is meant to be in circulation, right? So we want to get to the point that we have so much trust with money that we know that it's going to come back, right? So if we were in a romantic relationship and we really hung on to that partner because we didn't trust them, so we're like just hanging on to them, they would obviously want to leave, right? Like nobody wants to be in that type of relationship. So same thing with money. Money wants to feel that we trust it. So when we're holding on to money, we're just blocking more money from coming in. That's why it's so powerful to be able to release it and know that's coming back in tenfold. One thing that I've heard that some people do, like when they go purchase something, even with their debit card, they'll just do like a little affirmation, something like, again, this is just intuitively, it's safe for me to release this money because I know it's coming back in tenfold, something like that. Cultural societal beliefs. This is so big for any type of limiting decision, but very much so about money. In my culture, community, people like me don't get rich. Money is the root of all evil. These beliefs are shaped by deeply rooted cultural and societal norms. I can tell you 99% of limiting beliefs are on money. That's coming up from working with people. Most limiting beliefs around money come from that family piece, of course, but that tends to be from cultural or societal beliefs, right? The zero-sum game. For me to gain, someone else has to lose. If others have more, there's less available for me. So these limiting beliefs suggest that for you to win, someone else has to lose, right? So of course, this is very much a lack mindset. If we're leading with an abundance mindset, we know that there's enough for everybody. And that's not just money, that's opportunities. Oh, did I repeat that? Oh, sorry, I repeated that one. It's like no matter how many times you double check something, there's always something. Okay. Did I do this? Yeah, fear of change. Having a lot of money will change me or my relationships. People will only like me for my money. This is very common about success as well. So these limiting beliefs can trigger fear around how having more money will change your life as you know it, including your relationships. Some people subconsciously, I think, don't want money because they're worried about, well, if I have money, people are going to want things from me. How do I know if people generally want to be around me or if it's because of the money? How will my relationships change? Temporal views, I can't think about saving or investing. I need to spend what I have now. Future financial security isn't as important as enjoying the present. So these limiting beliefs cause you to choose instant gratification over long-term financial security and planning. I just want to circle back to something. One second. Money and morality. So it's more noble or moral to live with less. Rich people must have compromised their values to get wealthy. And I think we live in a society that's very programmed to have some type of resentment towards people with money. And then of course, when we think of in terms of energetic, that is just blocking more from us, right? We want to be able to love over people because if we can see things for other people, then we can, or things for other people, then we can see it for ourselves as well. So these limiting beliefs suggest that we're compromising our morals to be desiring wealth, potentially costing us to resist acquiring it, right? So when we talk about energetics, everything is cause and effect, right? So we want to really think about our actions because everything has an effective, basically transaction from the universe, essentially. So that's that. Any questions with that so far? Did any come up that you're like, oh, that has definitely been something that I've heard in childhood or even just in your current social circle or circle of influence? Well, I hope have people that speak with that narrative in your circle of influence. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess I can start. You know that I've done a lot of work on this with you. So my goal with this masterclass was to spend more time on the other side of it, on the like narrative changing of it. So it was really good to hear all of this stuff because this all has come up for me. But specifically where I am at in terms of some of the blocks is like relationships. You talk about relationships, so like I know a fear of mine is like I'm so scared to out earn my older siblings,
Mm,
or like, if I'm the full earn like if I'm the highest earner in my family, then I will be responsible for to provide for my entire family. And there's a lot of money blocks around that because it can feel like you want to hide away from those kind of things.
yeah,
Similarly with like friendships, you know, as I progress in my career, I might, and I already have started to out earn a few of my friends who have been part of my life for a long time. And that can feel very uncomfortable. So I feel like we've done a lot of childhood programming, and I could hear my mom's voice as you were going, being like, we're broke, we don't have enough money, or there's no business today. Those are the type of words that kept coming out. And till today, she still uses that language. So, and I find it very jarring for me. So I feel like a lot of this that you talked about really resonated with me and also reminded me why this work is so important, because I'm just like out here journaling a lot about what I want to be saying versus what I feel. But you have to go down to the root to understand where these blocks are.
yeah, definitely. I know we've talked about this, and obviously, I want to like share with permission. Um, we had talked about a lot of that. Might be even just be in terms of the family piece because you're a female earning the most out of all your siblings. Um, so there's that piece as well. I know we talked about, and so it sounds like there's that worthiness, obviously, right? So if you're not feeling, it sounds like there's like a little intimidation, right? So if you're not
Yeah.
feeling the intimidation piece to be earning more than most of your friends and your siblings and such, what would you be feeling instead?
Maybe like a reciprocal energy and energy flow. Um, I think for me, it's a strange place. It translates to shame. And it might be because we tend to think that higher earner people are bad or whatever. That may be some of it. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of like scarcity and shame in the sense of like it will be taken away. And I think that to me is like the biggest roadblock for me, is that I feel like it will go away. Like it's not going to stay.
Yeah. So a lot of what we've talked about,
Mhm.
right? So, I think this is work obviously that we're going to continue to do. And that's the thing with money work. Like every pay increase essentially takes even more work, right? Um, because you essentially need to feel it safer and safer to earn, right? It's funny because after we had that conversation, I actually saw an article, something along the lines like millennials are afraid to earn more than their partners, or their future partners or something like that, right? So I think as a woman, um, it's almost really allowing yourself to reframe that and to be in your power essentially, and to take back your power and to be able to be like, I'm not even 30 and I am the highest income earner in all of my siblings and I'm female, right? And if they're not comfortable with that, that has nothing to do with you. That's just a reflection of the work that they need to do, right? So by not sharing it, and not that you need to share it with them, it's almost like allowing them to feel comfortable, right?
I agree. I love the it is safe for me to earn more money, or it's safe for me to have a higher income. I think
Well, yeah,
that
exactly, right? Because at the end of the day, the more we have, the more we can give, the more we can literally, like, in essence, change the world, right? So when we talk in terms of servantship, it should feel safe to have more, because the more we have, the more we can give, either with our time or financially. I remember a quote that, um, if the world had more female millionaires, it would be a different world, right? Um, so not to take anything away from men, of course, but I think that it's really, in essence, you're giving your power away,
yeah, agreed.
right? Like you should be proud. You're not even 30 and you're making more than all your siblings. And again, if that makes them uncomfortable, especially the males, then that's on them, not you, right? You've worked hard to be where you are. How does that all feel?
Yeah, I'm trying to do the reactions on Zoom, but I guess you can't see the confetti, can you?
No, I don't see any confetti. But I do love the song Confetti. So I'm gonna ask you to pull your journals out or something, whatever you have, or your electronic. We're gonna do some questions to reflect your current financial blueprint, and this will allow you to have a little bit of direction in terms of things that you know that need work on, and that's okay, right? And this is continual work, exactly to Pamesha's point. Like this is continual work, right? I don't know if I'm okay to share, but I'm going to share. Pamesha just had like a major pay increase. Is that okay to share?
Yep.
So that's, sorry.
Yes.
Well, I just shared it. Sorry, then I asked permission. So of course it's going to feel uncomfortable, right? And so that's where that work continues, right? So describe your relationship with money in 5 words or less. Again, if you're feeling called to share, please do so. So describe your relationship with money in 5 words or less. If the words that are coming up, you're feeling like, oh man, and then you know that there's work there to be done.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I thought that I was like, when you first started talking the limiting beliefs, I was like, oh, I'm so over this. And you were like talking about some things, and I'm like, oh yeah, wait, I still say that and I still feel like that sometimes. So I still obviously have more work to do. And then as we talk about, like significantly high pay increases, and we kind of touched on this in our sessions as well, like every time you're like, well, no, you could be making way more than that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but like it's not that easy to make that significant of a jump, And so like I didn't even realize like I still have so much more work to do, because those are all still limiting beliefs. And I think as you went through like the different types of beliefs, it just like made me more aware of where I still like, because if you had asked me this first question, my relationship with money, 5 words or less, like before you went through those limiting beliefs, I'm like, oh, I don't really have it's all like positive words, but now it's like, oh no, I'm still a little bit stressed. I'm still like feeling a little undeserving. So
It's a good thing we're working on money tomorrow night.
yeah.
But yeah, and you know what? The thing is this, we live in a society that's very programmed by lack, right? So that's why it's so important to really protect our energy, protect our thoughts, really be hyper focused on who we're having conversations with, our circle of influence I referenced, right? Like who is in our circle of influence? What are we watching? What are we consuming? What are we listening to? Because, it's so easy to do this work and then have one conversation with somebody that isn't doing this work, and they'll say something like 6 figures, like, people don't do that at your age, or, in this climate, you're never going to buy a house, or, there's so much of that opposing narrative. So, to your point, I'd be like, it's so easy to do this work and then have conversations with people that are not doing that work and kind of be deflated and realize like, oh, maybe I'm not worthy of this, or maybe it is going to be impossible to buy a house or make more money or whatever that is, right? So that's why it's so important to, again, protect your energy, really be hyper focused on who we're having conversations with, who we're surrounding ourselves with, um, and for ourselves as well, right? So if we're focused on abundance and we are continually having conversations with others about debts and all these bills that are coming in, and obviously it's going to be counterproductive, right? So as much as it's important to do this work, um, it's also equally important to really be conscious of who we are allowing into our head, essentially, right? Because it's so easy to do this work and then allow people to influence us by their programming and their beliefs and their values, right? And that kind of goes back to what you were saying, permission, in the sense of the family piece, right? That, maybe their beliefs are, maybe the female in the family shouldn't be earning the most money. I'm the youngest female, right? But what's that for them? So what was your money story growing up? So Vision had said that when we were going through the limiting beliefs, she heard her mom a lot, and I'm sure that's true for a lot of us. Mom, dad, what was your money story growing up? So that is really essentially, what did you hear people around you saying? Because even though we would not have been aware of it, that was, of course, going into our subconscious mind and starting to really create the programming that we have.
I just wanted to say, I think it was Abby. Nice to meet you, by the way. Said like, oh, as you were going through this PowerPoint earlier on, the limiting beliefs thing, and I felt the same way. I was like, oh man, like I've done so much work on this, like la da da. But it's so funny that all day I've just moved into a new place, and I've been having so much resistance when it comes to like buying myself pot and pans and buying myself a knife set, because I'm like, oh no, like I don't think I can. Like I'm so nervous, I'm so worried. How am I gonna make all of these things meet? I need knives and pots and pans, but I'm like, no, I can live without it for like another month. I can like do this like, and I see that like even in the smallest things, this resistance shows up. And that's something that is still part of like, I think I was talking about my like mom, but like when it comes to my father, who was just too afraid to spend on anything. And
Yeah.
it would, you don't need this, you don't need this, which is great because there's also like an idea of being essential, but then it comes up when you need essential things and I don't want to buy a garbage can, or I don't want to buy knives or a pot and pan because I'm so nervous about those spends, and then you kind of binge spend on some other random things that you don't need.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why, it's important to have strategies around money and, that saving piece. And I'm not a financial advisor of any sorts, but that piece, but it has to feel good because once we start feeling like that we are any sense of lack, then we're just blocking more from coming in, right? And to your point, Pamisha, that like I can promise you, if you release it, it's going to come back like 100%. It's when we like hang on to it that we tend to attract in circumstances that we need to then release it, right? But if we're releasing it ourselves and we're basically saying to the universe that I'm okay releasing this money because I know it's going to come back in tenfold, it will come back. Like 100%. There has never been a time that I haven't like invested in myself in any capacity that hasn't come back in some way. Because if we're like, toggling over, um, I always remember this training I watched from Mind Valley. I can't remember who the speaker was. I probably have mentioned this on calls, but she was like, she loves organic blueberries, and she would go to the grocery store and she would like toggle over buying organic blueberries versus like regular blueberries. We're talking a $3-4 difference, right? And the reality is this: if you're toggling over $3-4, then you're not in the capacity to have the financial blueprint to attract in more wealth, right? Not that we're talking about spending within our like outside of our means by any that it doesn't feel good, but it's just like being able to release it. If we're stuck on $3-4, then we definitely are not programmed to receive more. So how were your parents around money? What does it mean to you to have not enough money or too much money? How do you feel about money today versus how would you like to feel?
Can I just say, like,
Yeah.
before we started working together, you sent out, like, before we had like our consultation call, like almost a year ago, you sent this survey, like a questionnaire,
Mm.
and it was, how did your mother feel about money growing up? How did your father feel about money growing up? How do you feel about money? And those questions were game changers. Like, even from that questionnaire, from those three questions, I had so many realizations. I'm like, I'm working with her. Like, that's it. We're still working together because we don't even realize like how much their narratives impact
Mhm.
us, and where, like, now it's like a little bit easier to like shift my mindset when I have certain thoughts, because I'm like, no, that's just something I picked up from my mom or I picked up from my dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And the more like we do this work or any type of personal development in any capacity, of course, um, the more we become hyper focused to things that don't feel good, or more, even more so, that things that are not in alignment with what we want or what we believe, right? So when we're doing this work and then we hear people say something, we it starts to not feel good, right? Because it's not really on par with what we want, what we feel. What is your biggest fear in relation to money? And how do you talk to your family and friends about money? So I'll give you a couple of minutes with that. And that piece about like how do we talk about our family and friends about money, or coworkers, whatever the case may be. It's like anything else. It gains momentum right? So if we're like continually talking about lack in any form to people, then it seems like it's just like then we have somebody else that wants to talk to us about that, and then somebody else and somebody else, and it just before we know it, like we're spending our day talking about what we don't want, essentially, right? It's so easy for that to happen. So as you're going through that, we are now going to kind of go on the flip side of it. It's almost to Kamisha's point, like in the sense of creating a new financial blueprint. And so the intention of this, what comes up with this, I would really asterisk anything that seems to have been like a repeating kind of pattern or theme, things that that you want to work on. Exactly. I think like what Abby was saying is like, oh, I like, now I hear this more, whatever the case may be. And it's something that you want to reframe essentially. But now we want to start to create a new financial blueprint and essentially change the vibration we feel about money, right? Because everything is all about vibration. So as long as we're feeling good about it, then we're creating the space for more to come in. Okay, so the intention with these prompts is to start to feel good about money in any capacity, really. So when have you felt at your richest? When have you felt at your richest? And this doesn't need to mean like going into like a Louis Vuitton, right? It could just feel like it could just be like when you were investing in your self-care and putting yourself first and feeling full.
I think I have a few. When I feel the richest, I feel these are really random, but when I take myself out to dinner, like when I'm like just sitting at a bar, I do this not very often. Obviously, I've done it probably once or twice, and I remember a specific one last July, and my intuition just told me to walk into a Fairmont and
Oh
just
my
sit
God,
at a
yeah.
and just order a drink and order food, and there was a piano playing, and I remember just feeling so different than my everyday life, and I was like, oh my God, I want more of this feeling.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting in an airplane, just that, but like before you're supposed to take off, that specific moment, I really feel like when I feel abundant and in my richness and a lot of gratitude that I can travel. And then of course small things like when I go for my 90-minute massage and I'm like, this is a blessing, and things like that that feel like time is slowed down. And I think that's truly when I feel the richest, is when time is slowed down and I can be present.
Yeah, I love that. And that's why I always, highly recommend people. It doesn't have to be, again, going beyond your means or an everyday thing, but allow yourself a time to go to a restaurant and choose what you want to eat. And typically we kind of look at the lower price points or that type of thing. But go into a restaurant and just choose what you want to eat and enjoy the experience of it. Same thing with a store, allow yourself to go into a store and just buy something because you love it without looking at the price tag. Again, not suggesting that we live beyond our means, but just allow ourselves to feel good about spending. Because again, it's that vibration piece, right? We can't expect to attract in money when we're feeling broke in any form, including being tired and being stressed, right? That's why that self-care piece is so important. So thank you for sharing that. What, in your opinion, is a good amount of money to earn? And add a 0. And when you're answering a question like this, in terms of the intention awareness piece, really, as much as pay attention to the thoughts that are coming up, like for example, if you say 6 figures and you have a thought like, no, you'll never do that, right? You want to obviously pay attention to that self-talk, of course, but also feel into your body, right? And that's why we started with that EFT tapping session, right? To release resistance, but feel in your body. So if you're saying to yourself, okay, like for me, 6 figures feels good, but your body starts to like tense up and you almost like feel nervous around that number, then you know that there's work that needs to be done subconsciously, energetically, to expand your nervous system essentially to earn that, right? Because we'll never out manifest our nervous system. So we want to, as much as we expand our programming, we want to expand our nervous system and allow ourselves to say, it's safe to earn 6 figures. It's safe to be the highest income earner in my family. It's safe to want to attract a partner that earns more than me or just as much as me or whatever that may be. What is the most money you have spent on something? Where do you want to see your relationship with money 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, tomorrow? Is there something that can make you more money? Yeah, you've been avoiding getting started of it because of fear. We have we're fortunate not to live in a time where there are so many ways to make more income. So is there something that you've been thinking about, but you just haven't really, or you've allowed fear or other people's programming to stop you? Or maybe that could even be asking for a raise or looking for a position that offers a bigger salary. And you haven't applied to it because you're telling yourself that you'll never get it. Why do you need to earn more? If you have made money mistakes, what did you learn from them? I think we can all think of something from our past where we're like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I sell that property? Why did I not keep that property? Why did whatever, why did you know, whatever that may be. So how can you allow that, reframe that almost to be okay if there was a loss involved, right? A lot of us hang on to low vibrational emotions around circumstances around money that we may have lost money in the past. Um, and we need to be able to let go of that to create the space to attract more. If money was not a factor, what are 5 things you would purchase today or do today? Where would you want to go on? Sorry, go ahead.
But I have a long list, obviously. I had a question on what shoot, I forgot where it was, but something about something you're avoiding getting started because of fear. Like
Yeah.
a couple slides ago, this came up in my brain again. Again, something that I want to do that just feels so indulgent that I'm like, oh, I can't spend money on that, which is like doing a photo shoot for myself and doing like a rebrand of myself and investing in my personal brand and trying to figure out that part of my personal and professional career.
Yeah.
But those cost, they can cost quite a bit. And that's been such a blockage for me because I really feel like it's blocking my creativity. And that's something that through these prompts, and I guess the great thing is though, and um, it seems like Abby has been working with you quite a bit, and I'm not sure if Aisha, and I feel like I know you. I think I know you. But
Oh, probably
anyway,
from RCS.
oh yes, yes. Um, the great thing that I'm seeing as progress from working with you for 2 years now is that my level of things I want to achieve financially has changed. Like 2 years ago, if this was my question, it would be like, oh, I'm trying to make my grocery list. I'm trying to, be able to afford my medicine or something like that, like things like that, that were just so basic, critical needs for myself that now I'm talking about a photo shoot. I'm like, whoa,
Mm.
changed so much.
It almost sounds like going from a place of like survival to creation,
Yeah.
essentially, right? But in terms of that photo shoot, I highly recommend it. And you can do it You know, sometimes there's photographers, makeup artists inside. Well, you have lots of contacts anyway, so that's not even a problem. But in terms of that photo shoot, and I'm just saying this because like I do branding shoots as well, that energetic up level that you're gonna get is going to be worth whatever financial investment that you do in it. And because of your contacts, I'm pretty sure that you can be able to do it very resourcefully. But just that it's it's almost like an energetic like up leveling. So I would highly recommend it. And it's, you know, it's almost saying to the universe, like, I'm here. I'm ready for all that is to come. Where would you want to go on your dream vacation if money wasn't an object?
I would go to Africa. I would want to go back. It's the last time I was there with my brother and my mom. It was just beautiful. It was such a stress-free kind of life that they have there. When you think about what we live here, and like the food tasted better.
Mm.
The heat felt so good. It's a different kind of heat. You can go on safari, uh, like right there. It's just absolutely gorgeous. If money was not a factor, I would go back tomorrow. I really would.
Michelle is saying that she's from Kenya.
Oh wow.
So you could go with her next summer. But definitely like what I would highly recommend in terms of that is like start to feel into it, right? So really allow yourself to start telling yourself that money isn't a factor and really start planning it, whatever that looks like. Granted, you've had lots of amazing travel abundance in the form of traveling, right?
Yeah.
But this is a new year. So, you
Yeah,
know, if that's something that just starts to really feel into it.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
What is one thing that you can do to improve your financial life today? It's actually, I was watching this series called Love on the Spectrum, which is about people with autism that find love. And one of the couples actually had just gone to Kenya, and it was so beautiful because they were showing like all the various animals and stuff. So that was super. So I could totally understand why you fell in love with them. So what is one thing that you can do to improve your financial life today? And it doesn't even have to be, you know, putting $50 aside or, you know, something that's so structured. Um, it could even just be, if we talk in the sense of energetics, like be excited to go on your online banking. Most people, that's like something that they dread, right? So what's a little ritual that you could put around going on to your online banking? Maybe it's like affirming that your account's an overflow. One thing I always talk about, I know Permission Abby has done this, like change your account names to nicknames, like future investments or accounts in overflow, anything that, you know, allows us to change the vibration around money. And if, you know, if saving is part of that component, um, make it feel good. Like, oh, I get to save for future investments. Or I know one thing they talk about the secret is when we're paying bills to have so much gratitude for it. I get to pay this Wi-Fi or internet bill because it allows me to work from home and make my living or whatever that case may be. You know, it's just really that slight um change in vibration that makes such a difference, not just about money, about anything as well. So how do you enjoy spending your free time with this change if you had unlimited money? And you know, unlimited money really can be different for different people, right? Same thing as success. Success is defined by different people differently. Same thing with financial freedom. For some people, financial freedom is just being able to give their time back a little bit, right? So, and for some people, financial freedom is to be a millionaire. So, you know, there's no right or wrong, but just, you know, how would that change if you had unlimited money, whatever that feels good to you? How do you express your love for others? And would this change with more money? And just to the point that we were making prior when Permission was talking, like, you know, the more we have, the more we can give, whether it be through the financial piece or being able to give our time. So we don't have to set the timer. I'll just look at the clock, but write down will take a couple of minutes, and write down how you feel when you're a magnetic match to all of your desires. So, you could even just use very visually based words. So, or even emotionally based words. So when you're a magnetic match to all your desires, whether that is money, whether that's love, whether that's health, whatever that looks like, travel, how do you feel? Do you feel joy, happiness, abundant, appreciative? I'm going to imagine how more higher vibrational emotions. If we were looking at the emotional guidance scale, things like joy, gratitude. So just give you a couple minutes to continue on that. Like 2 minutes. This is going to be more of a prompt, or prompts, I should say, that you can even journal on if you're feeling called to today or tomorrow. Maybe perhaps again, make a little ritual around it, but it's time to forgive, heal, release, and make room for more money. So a lot of us are holding on to incidents from the past that have profoundly affected our money story today. Maybe, for example, watching our parents fight about money. Maybe our moms feeling bad, or our parents feeling bad that they couldn't buy us the most popular Barbie. I don't know why that's coming up, but things in the past that have really impacted how we feel about money and our money story today. Again, this is something that you could just take with you and at some point lean into, but ask yourself, when did this event take place? Maybe there's something that's like, oh, I remember that. That definitely has, made an impact on my money story today. It doesn't have to be even necessary from childhood, right? Who was present at the event? How did the event affect your current money situation? How do you think your life may be different now? The event may have been played out differently. And with anything, we want to be as descriptive as possible. And again, it doesn't have to be necessarily a forgiveness letter, because I don't think we need to necessarily forgive to be able to let something go. I think there just needs to be acceptance of it. So as things are coming up for you in terms of various events from the past that have impacted your money story today, at some point I would highly release the people from it. So maybe there was a parent involved there, maybe there was a friend, maybe there was an ex, and essentially take back our power, release them from it. If it feels good to do a letter of some kind, but really allow yourself to start telling a different story about that. And again, that really allows us to start living at cause. Any questions so far? So gratitude, giving, and receiving. So of course, gratitude strengthens our receptive mode with anything we've taught. We always hear gratitude is a magnet for miracles and for more. The more gratitude we have, the more we welcome into our life. So you don't have to do this at this moment. Think of 5 things that you're grateful for. These can be things that you have not received yet into your physical reality, right? Because the feeling always comes first. So I am so thankful I am a 6-figure earner. I am so thankful that my accounts are in overflow. Whatever, it doesn't have to be. I find with gratitude, it becomes a little bit mundane and repetitive, and people are like, well, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for my health, I'm thankful for my job. And, it almost becomes very robotic almost. So that's why I tend to focus more on appreciation. So it's almost like a state of being. So to be able to be very much what Kamisha was saying, like to go, and I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm so grateful for, being on this call with other incredible women, strong, powerful, independent women. Just being able to find appreciation in any circumstances that we're in. And since we are talking about that money piece, to be able to really appreciate it, even if we don't have it yet, or it meaning the amount that we want. So I alluded to this a little bit in the beginning, but giving is the most powerful universal action. When we're giving, I don't care if it's $1, $2, giving somebody compliments, whatever, in any capacity, giving our time, perhaps. Giving is the most, in my opinion, the most powerful universal action, because we are declaring that we have so much trust in the universe that we're able to allow and give. So think of some acts of giving you could perform each day, maybe buying someone a coffee, giving a compliment, helping a friend in need, donating to charity that aligns with you. And receiving it, we really don't allude to how we block ourselves from receiving. So for example, for a lot of people have a difficult time receiving compliments, right? So if we have a difficult time receiving compliments, the chances are we're blocking other things to come in the forms, for example, of money. Receiving is receiving. The vibration of receiving is all the same, right? So we want to be able to receive in all of its forms, including money. So one call to action that I have was think of 10 compliments for yourself. You don't have to do this in the moment. And you'd really be surprised how hard this is for some people to think of 10 compliments for themselves. And then, every day really say them to yourself, and allow yourself to get into that vibration of receiving and feeling safe to receive. Sorry, I think I see somebody on. Sorry, is it coming? When you think you have to sneeze, you're not sure. So here is what we covered. We covered what a financial blueprint is and how your beliefs around money created your current money paradigm. What the most 13 limiting beliefs about money are. We learned into your current financial blueprint to recognize any limiting beliefs around money that are not serving you. We started the process of starting to create a new financial blueprint that you can start making empowered decisions from, right? We want to start making decisions from the version of ourselves that has attracted in the reality that we want versus the reality that we have. And that's in any capacity, including money. Okay, so to Pamisha's point, when we were talking about having some scarcity around making purchases, you can ask yourself, so that version of myself that is generating 6 figures or that has financial freedom, would they be having self-narrative of doubt of spending $3 on organic blueberries? No, right? So really allow yourself to start making empowered decisions from the version of yourself that has attracted in the reality that you want in every capacity, including money. We learned how forgiving, healing, releasing, gratitude, and giving will have you earning today. I promise you, the simple fact of releasing and giving will allow you the space to start receiving and earning more. I can guarantee it. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing and then allow space for any questions, any comments, anything that you're feeling called to share. And then as soon as we are done that, then we'll go into the hypnosis, because then after the hypnosis, like I said, you'll probably just want to rest or sleep or take a moment to journal and anything that comes up. So any questions, any comments, any?
Yes, I have a question. Can you be grateful for something that is with you spiritually? but not with you physically, or
Yes,
it's already
100%.
gone. You know what I mean? It's my dad. He's not
Yeah,
here physically, but
100%.
spiritually he's with me, but that's it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And I'm a believer in having conversations with, pardon?
I'm listening. I'm listening. Keep going.
No, no, go ahead.
No, that was it. Sorry.
Oh, no, I believe in having like conversations with spirit, or however you define that. Um, like I have conversations with the universe all the time, right? So it should be no different. Even just letting him know how grateful you are for him, that you feel his presence. Um, sometimes when I'm asking for a sign, I'll just be like, universe, like, can you just show me or give me a sign that I'm making the right decision? So very much in that same element, 100%. That's Yeah, it's definitely, I think gratitude has to extend past what we have in our physical reality, whether that be um somebody that is no longer with us in this physical world, or something that we are working on manifesting. Definitely. Definitely. Anything else come up for anybody that they're feeling called to share?
Just really happy that I attended this. It was a last minute decision on my part, but a really strong reminder that this is a continuous journey. It's also inspired me to set myself up for the year, because that's also something that, like, with big life changes, like moving, getting a new job, sometimes the goals and like the thoughts and all of those things behind it gets lost. So this was a really good reminder for me to check in with myself and remind myself that we have some big plans ahead.
Definitely. And you've had a lot of abundance in a short period of time, right? So I think when that happens, as much as it's amazing, of course, right? And you should be so proud of yourself. You almost need to like take a moment to process it and be like, oh, this
Yeah.
happened.
Mhm.
I'm worthy of this. Like, this is more than okay, and this is essentially just the beginning. And not and like subconsciously and consciously releasing any guilt around it. Like, why should we feel guilt around earning? And whether that's being because we're female, or whatever the case may be, like, we need to release this guilt that society tends to want to put on people that want more in any capacity, because we're so used to that programming that tends to, I think, for a lot of people, be um, societal and cultural programming or generational programming, where like, do you really need that? You have enough, like, just be happy with what you have. That's a lot of narrative that surrounds people. So it takes work to be able to be like, no, I actually want more. Not only do I want more, I know I'm worthy for more. So definitely, definitely, it really is that continual journey, essentially. Definitely. So when we live in a society that's, trying to keep us small, especially as women, it really is a journey. So anything else before we get into the hypnosis? Sorry, I apologize for my sniffles. So I know excuse me, it's a lot of takeaways. So obviously, we can essentially reprogram financial blueprints on a group call of this element. A lot of the work is done one-on-one. But I wanted to, again, whether you're watching this live or a replay, allow you to have a roadmap, almost, in the sense of knowing what needs to be worked on. I'm hoping, things have came up this evening that may not have come up before, in terms of like, oh, I didn't even realize that I thought that about money, or I didn't even, until tonight, I didn't even realize that situation with that person has really been impacting the decisions I make about money. So I really hope things came up that may not have been in your awareness. And at the flip side, I hope inspired on you to, of course, want more, but really start to think differently about, yes, money, but also your capabilities to earn, to attract, to live bigger, to live louder, and to really just start showing up for yourself and showing up for everybody that needs you to show up. And so if there's no more questions or comments or things that are being called to share, I am going to go into the hypnosis. So with the hypnosis, you can choose to lie down, you can choose to just sit in your seat. So with hypnosis, um, I think everybody that is on the call live has done hypnosis with me prior. So you know that, you're fully awake. You're just in just a deep state of relaxation. And what we're going to do is, while you're in this deep state of relaxation, we're going to speak to your subconscious mind, and we're going to allow it to really reprogram any limiting decisions that may have been made as a child, more specifically, and create that space to be able to start to release it and think differently. And then what I will do is call you back into the room, and then there's, we could talk about if anything came up, or usually after hypnosis, everyone just wants to go lie down. Any questions with that before we get started? Okay. So now, if you haven't yet, you can close your eyes. You can do that right now. Maybe you want to take a few moments before we get started to just breathe in a sense of gratitude for the last few minutes, being here, and really allow yourself the space to give yourself praise and congratulate yourself for investing time into yourself. Time is the most valuable resource that we have. So even to just invest time into yourself is huge, and you're telling the universe that you are ready for more. And as you listen to these words and notice the position of your hands and the sensation of whatever you're resting on, you can gradually become more and more absorbed in the reality of going into a state of deepest rest and calm, where you can learn to let go of whatever it is that you need to let go of. And to begin right now, you can just take a very slow, deep breath, hold it for a moment, and then let go. And as you breathe all the way out and feel those shoulders release and those facial muscles soften and smooth out. And as you do so, the muscles of the jaw loosening, the little muscles around the eyes and the forehead relaxing. And just as when you drift off to sleep at night, and as that body becomes more comfortably still, and the mind becomes more absorbed in dreamlike images, you can notice a growing stillness, a calm, comfortable stillness beginning in your hands. And as you notice the space between the fingers, space between the thumb and the forefinger in each hand, the space between the forefinger and the middle finger on each hand, the space between the middle finger and the ring finger on each hand, and the space between the ring finger and the little finger on each hand, the space between and around the fingers, the space between the hands, the space around the hands, and the space that those hands occupy. I'd like you to get a growing sense that all the space is imbued with deepest, deepest rest, permeating each and every cell of those hands, each and every cell of those fingers, and they feel still, more deeply absorbed in the growing relaxation that's about to begin flowing all the way through the rest of the body. And if you haven't yet, you can relax deeper, deeper, and even deeper. And as you take another slow, deep breath, hold it for a moment and then let it all go. all the way down as that deep calm and stillness in the space all around you permits the very deepest levels of your body and mind. And there's a reason you're listening to these words, because you want to let go of certain restrictive unconscious beliefs that have held you back when it comes to money. And your unconscious instinctive mind knows exactly how to begin to make that change, because it's already outgrown and let go of many old, outdated beliefs, because they were beliefs you used to have as a child. Perhaps you believe you couldn't cross the road without an adult, or that you shouldn't stay out playing past a certain time. Or you might have believed as a very young child that you needed a night light to be able to get sleep because you didn't feel comfortable in the dark, as you might have believed in certain superstitions. You may have once believed there was a monster in your closet, or that there was such a thing as a tooth fairy, and all of those beliefs and superstitions, the mindset you had back then as a child, probably worked fine for you when you were a child. Thus, as you start to grow older, you begin to outgrow them, just as a child can outgrow a pair of shoes. The shoes begin to pinch and feel too tight because the child is becoming too big for them. And today, if you were given a pair of shoes you used to wear as a little child, they would probably fit the palm of your hand. And it's amazing to think that once went on your feet because you've long since let go of the memory of them. You've outgrown and moved on from those things that no longer fit who you are. And what does it mean to truly become an adult? To truly outgrow not just childhood superstitions that no longer fit who you are, but also the beliefs and values of your family, your parents, your relatives, maybe the culture you grew up in, that simply no longer fit who you are as a unique person. Free to choose your own path in life now, because there may be certain beliefs about money that one way or another you picked up and carried around you in the past because of the influence of certain people, of certain circumstances. And that woman I worked with told me how her father would always say, there's no point in making more money because if you ever made more than a certain amount, the tax man would take it all away and you end up poor. And as a child, that sounded perfectly plausible to her, and she believed it. But to an adult, it doesn't add up. Because of course you pay more tax when you make more money. But you still have more money than you would otherwise have. But she still felt an emotional connection to the childhood belief. And so I hypnotically guided her to relax deeper and deeper inside and to drift back to the years in her mind until she could see that young girl way back then. The girl who she was, with her father first giving her these superstitions and beliefs. And as she was contemplating the scene, I remarked to her that her father himself probably learned these superstitions and distorted beliefs from certain people in his own life and certain circumstances that influenced him when he was younger. And his family probably picked up certain limiting beliefs and ideas from their own ancestors, like a suit of heavy restrictive armor getting passed down from generation to generation, confining each new person who wears it. And heavy armor might not be useful once, or may have been useful once back in the day of medieval battles, but it's not of use anymore in a healthy, happy, fulfilling life in the modern world. It just keeps you feeling restricted and trapped, unable to move where you want, how you want. So now it's time to go over to that younger you, when that you in the past was first adopting those unhelpful beliefs about money, when that younger you was first putting on that restrictive armor. And it's time to explain to that younger you carefully, compassionately, and sincerely that there's no need to do that. You don't need to wear that armor anymore. You can live your life free as you grow into an adult. As a person, you can freely choose their own path and thrive. And you can watch the younger you take it in everything you are saying at the deepest level as they vigorously pull off that armor, every last bit and piece of it, casting it aside and take a deep breath and free themselves from those restrictions, like finally outgrowing and letting go of something that no longer fits. And you can feel this in yourself too, to release now, a letting go of old restriction, breathing more easily, relaxing, opening up to new possibilities. That's it. And as your subconscious mind can allow you to begin to dream now of a future you, just a week into the future, with several degrees more relaxed and at ease with the reality of making more money and having more money, having a wider, broader comfort zone of wealth. And you can see this change happening gradually at first, just a few degrees more relaxed, starting to shrug off those old, outdated beliefs. That's it. And relaxing with your right as a human being to enjoy good health, good relationships, and healthy finances. The sense of that template within your DNA for optimal health and vitality of your body and mind be given just the right circumstances for you to truly thrive as a person, thriving in your personal life. Notice relationships thriving and becoming healthier and stronger, thriving in your work, and thriving financially. A sense of growing health and vitality, permeating all those different areas of who you are now becoming. And as you start to merge with this future you, and notice how much more comfortable you're already feeling about the numbers in your bank account being higher, your accounts in overflow. And you can feel the deep shift in your attitude to money or any area of your life that's becoming healthier and stronger, free from those old limiting restrictions, and how you begin to see the path ahead of you becoming more filled with possibilities, a future you a year from now who's even more at ease and comfortable with the reality becoming wealthier, investing money in the future, creating financial security and freedom for you to be able to even more fully enjoy your life. And just as you enjoy living in a world where there's oxygen to breathe and sunlight illuminating your days, so your healthy, growing, thriving personal finances are something that's not just part of your life to enjoy, they are part of who you are becoming as a person. And you can listen to this session often and deepen this calm confidence around money. And each time that you do, and for now, as you're feeling called to, you can begin to feel more alert and refreshed and prepared to come all the way back with a real sense of good feeling by noticing the position of your body, the sensation of whatever it is that you're resting on. And then whenever you're ready, you can take a nice stretch and come back into the room. And if anybody has anything that they want to share that may have come up, give you a couple minutes. If not, you can feel free to just come off and be in the space that you're in. You're ready, you can come back into the room, or you could just leave the Zoom and go into your space. Give everybody a few minutes. I think everybody is in their own space, whether you're awake or not. So I'm
Yeah.
just going. Oh, you okay?
Oh, I'm awake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
I
was just
was
gonna just leave everything on. Usually after hypnosis, everyone's kind of comatose, so I wanted to honor that.
I did feel like relaxed during the hypnosis, so I don't know if that's a good sign or like I don't or maybe I'm just tired.
Yeah, definitely. And it's almost like a meditation in the sense of um it's not meant to feel like work, right? So especially with hypnosis, it's meant to get us into like a calm state, um, and allow us to speak to our subconscious mind. So it's not something that we should really be conscious of. So yeah, so even though, you were feeling relaxed, that's perfect because what I was saying was being embedded into your subconscious mind. So yeah, that's perfect. And sorry, my nose is running. That state of relaxation is so powerful especially when we're talking about receiving, um, to be able to feel relaxed and relaxed and feeling safe. When we talk about again like expanding our nervous system, it's super powerful. So it really highlights why it's so important to be able to move away from that survivor mode to a state of and consciousness of expansion.
Um, I felt very relaxed, but I came out of mine much earlier, I think, than everyone else. I,
That's, yeah, like
I
I
don't
said,
know
like
what was coming up for me, but I was seeing something that I wasn't ready for.
you were
Um,
seeing
wasn't
something
my
that
dad,
you,
obviously, because I've
yeah.
always seen my dad in my dreams, and I love that. But this was something like I came right out of it. I was like, wait, I don't want to, I can't see this right now. So I don't know if it's something when you put up the slide about forgive, heal, and release. Like
Oh.
I made a list, and I don't know if it was that something came up from there because I
Mm,
automatically pushed it away. I was like, okay, wait, I'm waking up. I can't. It was just definitely something that I couldn't see right now.
that's powerful though. So definitely, um, at some point when you're feeling more called to, definitely, I think something that needs to have some focus, right? It sounds like, because if it was like that big that like subconsciously sounded like you were, um, so the thing with our subconscious mind, memories come up when we're ready for them, essentially. So like anything repressed, when our subconscious mind feels that we're ready to process them, that's when they'll come up. So it sounds like maybe you're not ready to process it yet, but definitely sounds like something that could impact you going forward. So definitely I think something maybe to even meditate on,
Okay.
something that you could even just do in your own meditation practice and just feel into it, and maybe just talk to your subconscious mind, let it know that it's safe to bring up something that it may be wanting to bring up, because you said you didn't remember the specifics of it.
Yeah, no, I literally the minute it was going to become more clear, I walked away. Like, and I came and I
Mm.
woke up. I was like, whoa, I can't. Like, something was definitely not, I was definitely not ready for.
Okay, so that's fair. You'll know when you're ready for it. So maybe um what's coming up for me, so I'll honor it. It sounds like you're very associated to the memory, right? And
Okay.
so like that you see yourself there with it.
All
So
right. Yeah.
so maybe at some point if you're feeling called to, um allow yourself to lean into it but disassociate from it, in the sense of take yourself out of the memory and um maybe even like write it down as if you're watching it, almost like a movie, or like a scene from a movie or something, right?
Ah,
And don't
okay.
like take yourself out of it, because it sounds like you're very associated to in it, meaning that it sounds like you're having like a trauma response to it. of some kind, right?
Right. Wow.
So, and like I said, you might not just be even ready to process it. But if you're feeling called to it and it sounds like it's something that, may be in your interest to process it, and to see what's there. There's probably some learnings to move forward with. You may want to just, like I said, maybe write it down, journal on it, and take yourself out of the memory. So it should
Okay.
be when we take ourselves out of it, it will become like less traumatic. There'll be less of a trauma response to it. And and of course feel into that as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course. That's super powerful. Super, super powerful. You can do some regression hypnosis. See what comes up. But that's the thing with memory. Like sometimes, we'll be like, oh, I know this happened. I want to like revisit it or whatever the case may be. And if our subconscious mind feels that we're not ready to process it, then it won't come up necessarily. And that's
Okay.
okay. But yeah, it sounds like if you could like disassociate from the memory and try to process it by taking yourself out of it, then you can see what comes up. Perhaps usually with
Okay.
something like that, there'll be some learnings. It sounds like maybe there's some inner child work, some forgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably a lot of forgiveness, I think.
Yeah, forgiveness, acceptance. I think
But
sorry.
is it possible? Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah,
Is it like I thought I had forgiven a lot of things that I've gone through, whether it's financially, trauma, past abuse. I think
yeah.
we've talked about all this. So I thought I had forgiven some of this, but I guess I haven't. So then what's the like what so if you think you've forgiven something, but you actually haven't, because I wasn't ready to see it right now, or like if something was coming. So what does that mean? Like I'm being too hard on myself?
I think like I'm kind of biased when it comes to forgiveness. I think we put like a lot of, you know, we need to forgive to be able to like move forward and things like that. And I'm one that thinks that, you know, I don't think we need to necessarily forgive as much as we need to accept, right? That
Uh-huh.
for example, what comes up a lot of times when we're working on people's timelines is like understanding that that person was doing the best they can with the resources that they had, right? And so when we're
Okay.
able to accept that that person took those actions based on their own internal filters, their own beliefs, their own values, their own programming that is obviously very different than ours, then we can be a little bit more accepting and release them and essentially take back our power. And like in the sense of being like, okay, so that was them and that had nothing, like no reflection on myself type of thing.
Okay.
And then when we're able
Right.
to do that, usually when we're working on people's timelines, there's learnings there, positive learnings. The learning should always be positive, right? So
Yes.
again, so something like, oh, that person was just doing the best they could because their one of their values was in honesty. So they just didn't know any better. Um, excuse me. And a learning could be like that person's actions is not going to be reflective of future partners, and it's okay to trust that type
Okay.
of, again, it's just things that intuitively coming up to me. I don't know it has anything to do with the situation, but like that type of thing. Does that answer your question or help at all?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it sounds like even if you journal on it, maybe meditated on it, maybe just tell your body and subconsciously that it's safe um to go there wherever it is on your timeline, um and just see what comes up. So maybe
Thank
you
you.
have, pardon?
Thank you. That
No,
helps.
like maybe you have done the forgiveness work, maybe there's acceptance work that needs to happen, or again, like pulling learnings from it, right? That will allow you to move forward with it. Because it's, it's when certain things happen, it's so easy to take it into like new relationships or new situations or new circumstances. So that's why the learnings really help in the sense of like, something like, I was neglecting myself. I'm not going to do that again. Or, it was a time that I wasn't putting myself first, and I know that I'm not going to do that again. That type of thing. So I hope that helped. But that's super powerful. You may,
I think you and I both know I've had some powerful stuff even under my Reiki, right?
yeah, definitely. What's coming up for me actually is a body scan. I'll email it to you. I might have it. Actually, I have it as I think I recorded it as a meditation to music. But just like what I think this would really benefit you is to just listen to it. If I don't have it as a recording, I'll just send you the PDF. But it's super powerful because what it does essentially is just go through your entire like body, through your crown, and then through your spine, through your roots, and just allows, almost essentially gives a permission to ask, okay, so are there any messages there? Any emotions there? Any thoughts there? Is it trying to tell me something? And usually some powerful things usually come up from a body scan. So it sounds like that would really benefit you as well. To be able to just again read it or sit with it, listen to it, and be able to just journal on anything that comes up. Because like you may have done the forgiveness work, but it may just be reaffirming that it's safe to trust. Not all people are the same, or whatever that looks like. I don't know the specifics, but
Okay, that
yeah.
helps.
There's always going to be things that are going to be triggering. So even though we may feel that we let something go and it's entirely, we might meet a new person or circumstances comes up that um is triggering, which is such a normal response, right? So to be able to be like, okay, I've seen this before, and be able to just kind of work through it like that. So essentially the work never stops. It just gets easier because our awareness gets stronger and our intention.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, of course, I'll send that to you as soon as we get off. I think I did it as a recording. Any other questions? But I kept you longer, of course. And I'm like sniffling and it's gross, so I apologize in advance.
I gotta use the washroom, so I'm actually gonna sign off.
Okay, it was so
Sorry.
nice to see you. I'll send that to you, and thank you so much for joining. It's always honored to share space with you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a good night.
You too.
Abby, Misha.
Just
Abby,
wanted to say thanks
oh,
and run as
thank you.
well. Thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you joined on. I'm so glad I like mentioned it because I didn't really because I had to reschedule from last week and then I really didn't talk about it again. So I'm glad, I don't know, just intuitively, I just asked you. Abby, you could bring like what came up for you to the call tomorrow and we'll go through it as well. Because we were
Okay.
going to talk about money stuff anyway, so it works out
Sure.
perfectly.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yay. Have
Amazing.
an amazing night, ladies. Thank you so much. Love you both.
Thank you, Laura, as
Okay, have a
always.
good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.